one thing that was, to add insult to injury, I was born an empath, which means I feel everything. I not only felt my pain, but I felt my mother's pain. And her pain was that she was unable to, her marriage was going south. She wasn't really happy being a mother, and to be honest with you, I don't think she was happy at all. And what that left me was, it was very hard for me to be just me, but I made some space for that. I carved out time where I spent time alone. I had imaginary friends. I played games. I had friends outside of the house. And I knew in my childlike mind that I could make things better. I would make things better. Better not only for me, but for my future children. I wanted the pain of my family cycle to stop, and it would end with me. Fortunately, I was not alone. I had the aid of a maternal grandmother who I believe knew some of the shortcomings of her daughter and helped compensate that for me. We spent a lot of time together, and she was the one light in my very young life. Thank God for her. By the time I was 13, my parents divorced, and my mom decided that she needed to move 3,500 miles away from her children and her family to Calgary, where she is today. I never really understood that decision, but looking back on it, I believe she may have done us a favor, me and my little brother, because I think she knew about her shortcomings. And unfortunately, being a mother was not one of them. I want to share with you a quote I heard recently. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. And I share that with you because for me, I chose to suffer. Now, don't get me wrong. The pain in my childhood manifested itself in many positive ways. I was very driven. I was what we used to call a type A personality. I was very successful in my career. I raised three beautiful boys with the help of my wife of 35 years. And they are doing very well. But throughout most of my adult life, I have suffered from massive anxiety, bouts of depression, the occasional fits of anger, because I haven't dealt with that childhood pain. I ignored it. I buried it. I did everything to distract myself, but acknowledge that pain that existed within me. So what did I do? I'm very spiritually connected. I got a degree in religious studies, partly because I've always been interested in spirituality and religion, and it was something that I wanted to learn more about. And I continued that journey into my adult life. I also became a Toastmaster, taught others about the potential that lies deep within us. And looking back on it, I was teaching what I most needed to learn. But with every book that I read, with every speech that I gave, with every business or life coach client that I spoke to, I moved closer to that day of redemption. Redemption is defined in the Webster's Dictionary as the action of gaining or regaining something in exchange for a payment or a clearing of a debt. Clearing of a debt. What debt would we possibly have to repay in order to reclaim our right when we were just that we were born with? I honestly struggled with this. I wanted just to be happy. Can't somebody help me? I'll read a book, talk to somebody, something. Can't somebody just help me? But the reality is I was looking in the wrong place. No one or no thing can give you the peace that you want. I learned that had to come from myself. I had to start to care for myself. My road to redemption began with awareness, acknowledgement, and acceptance of that little wounded, anxious, but oh so brilliant boy that I now call little Jamie. What I found is I found a little boy who had a wonderful, incredible joie de vivre, somebody that was connected not only to himself but to other people. But I also was a little boy who was emotionally and physically abused, a boy who was told that he could never be good enough, a boy who only wanted one thing: acceptance for who he was. And there it was, the debt to be repaid. Acknowledging and accepting that little child. And there was only one person left to do that: me. I have to tell you that the road to redemption is not easy. It is something that requires a lot of self-reflection, but it's not just a destination. It's something that is constant. It's a constant awareness, acknowledgement, and acceptance. It doesn't ever go away, but your understanding of it can. Over the years, my mother has attempted, honestly, to reconcile her decisions, and she even acknowledged the pain that she had caused me, which is something I never thought I would see in my lifetime. This past February, I flew out to Calgary with the known intent of placing my demented 75-year-old mother into a nursing home to spend her last days. And as I was taking her to the hospital, she began to visibly shake, and she looked at me and said, "I am so scared." And I realized then that no matter how old we are, that little child still screams for expression, expresses its fears, wants its acceptance, even as the brain and memory are dying. Marianne Williamson once said, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be so brilliant, fabulous, and gorgeous? Actually, who are you not to be? There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people don't feel insecure around you. You were born to manifest your glory. And as you let your light shine, you give unconsciously other people the permission to do the same." What pain might you have not acknowledged? What pain might be holding you back from your light and helping you reach your redemption? I know that you have more courage than you give yourself credit for. Know that when you leave here today, you can explore that little child within you, find redemption, and find your unique declaration. I am Jamie Pritchard. I am the magnetic lighthouse that zaps aimless and purposeless vessels from the fog and connects them directly to the light.